I still remember the exact moment my wife looked at me like I was already a ghost. We were sitting across from each other in the cold, overly polished conference room of her lawyer's office, the kind of place designed to make people feel small. The walls were decorated with expensive art that said nothing, just like the marriage we were about to bury. Claire didn't even flinch when she slid the divorce papers toward me. "Just sign it, Daniel," she said, her tone flat, almost bored. "Let's not drag this out." No emotion, no hesitation. 10 years together, and this was how it ended. I glanced at the papers, but didn't touch them. "Is that really what you want?" I asked quietly. She let out a short laugh, one that didn't reach her eyes. "What I want? Daniel, I've been carrying you for years. You have nothing. No real job, no ambition. I'm done being your safety net." Her words hit hard, but not because they were true, because she believed they were. And that was exactly what I needed. The illusion. To Claire, and honestly to most people, I was just a failed entrepreneur, a guy who tried a few things but never made it, someone who worked from home, took random calls, and never seemed to bring in real money. Meanwhile, she had climbed the corporate ladder fast, marketing executive, 6-figure salary, designer clothes, luxury vacations, funded mostly by her, or so she thought. What she didn't know was that everything she saw was carefully planned. I wasn't failing. I was building. Quietly, strategically, patiently. Years ago, before we got married, I had launched a small tech startup with 2 partners. It wasn't glamorous at first. Long nights, ramen dinners, and constant uncertainty. Claire hated that phase. "You're wasting your life," she used to say. "Why don't you just get a normal job?" So I stopped talking about it. Not because I gave up, but because I realized something important. Not everyone deserves to see your vision before it becomes reality. The break. The moment everything changed wasn't the divorce papers. It was 6 months before that. I came home early one afternoon and found Claire laughing on the phone. Not unusual, but the way her voice softened, the way she said, "I miss you too," that wasn't normal. She didn't know I was standing in the doorway. I didn't confront her. Instead, I listened. And what I heard shattered something inside me, but also made things crystal clear. She wasn't just unhappy. She had already moved on. The decision. That night, I didn't argue. I didn't accuse. I didn't even bring it up. Instead, I called my attorney the next morning. "Prepare everything," I said. "Everything?" he asked. "Yeah," I replied, "and make sure it's airtight." You see, there was one thing Claire never paid attention to: the paperwork. While she was focused on appearances, I was focused on protection. Every investment, every account, every ownership structure, all legally secured long before she ever thought about leaving. Back to the conference room. Claire's lawyer cleared his throat. "If there are no objections, Mr. Carter, we can proceed with the signing." I leaned back in my chair. "Actually," I said calmly, "I do have something." Claire rolled her eyes. "Of course you do. Daniel, please don't make this harder than it needs to be." I turned to my attorney and nodded. He smiled slightly. "Before any documents are signed, we'd like to present something for the record." Claire frowned. "What is this?" My attorney reached into his briefcase and pulled out a small remote. Then he pointed toward the TV mounted on the wall. "Please direct your attention to the screen." Claire looked confused, then annoyed. "This isn't a movie. Can we just—" Click. The screen lit up. At first, it was just security footage. A living room. Our living room. Claire's expression didn't change yet. Then the audio kicked in. Her voice, clear, undeniable. "He has no idea," she was saying, laughing softly.
Daniel's too busy pretending to be something he's not. Her face froze. The room went silent. The video continued. There she was, sitting on our couch, talking to another man, not just emotionally cheating, planning. I'll file for divorce soon. Once I'm free, we can finally be together, and honestly, there's nothing to take from him anyway. That last line hung in the air like a loaded weapon. Nothing to take from him anyway? Claire's lawyer shifted uncomfortably. Is this authentic? He asked. My attorney didn't hesitate. Fully verified. Claire turned to me, her face pale. You were spying on me? I met her gaze, calm and steady. No, I said. I was protecting myself. The video ended. But we weren't done. My attorney placed a stack of documents on the table. Now, he said, let's talk about assets. Claire crossed her arms, trying to regain control. There are no assets. He doesn't have anything. My attorney smiled again, this time wider. That's where you're mistaken. He opened the folder and slid the first document toward her. Her eyes scanned the page, then widened. What is this? That, he said, is proof of ownership in a technology company valued at approximately $42 million. The room went completely still. Claire looked up at me, stunned. You're lying. Am I? More documents followed. Bank statements, investment portfolios, property holdings. Each one hit harder than the last. This can't be real, she whispered. But it was. Every bit of it. The collapse. Claire's confidence didn't just crack, it shattered. You hid this from me? She demanded. No, I said quietly. I just stopped explaining myself to someone who never listened. Her lawyer leaned forward to her, whispering urgently. I could almost hear the panic in his voice. Everything she thought she knew, everything she counted on, was gone. The final blow. My attorney leaned forward. Given the evidence presented, including documented infidelity and prior intent, our position is clear. He paused for effect. Mrs. Carter is not entitled to any of Mr. Carter's protected assets. Claire's head snapped up. What? And, he continued, we will be pursuing legal action regarding breach of marital trust and potential financial misconduct. Her face drained of color. You can't do this. I finally spoke again. Actually, I said, standing up slowly, I can. I picked up my coat. Claire stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. Daniel, wait, she said, her voice suddenly softer, desperate. But it was too late. You thought you were leaving a man with nothing, I said, looking down at her. I paused, then added, but the truth is, you were walking away from everything. And with that, I turned and walked out. Epilogue. A few months later, the divorce was finalized. Claire didn't get the fortune she expected. In fact, she walked away with far less than she ever imagined. As for me, I didn't celebrate. I didn't seek revenge. I just moved on, with clarity, with peace, and with the quiet satisfaction of knowing, sometimes the strongest move isn't proving your worth to others, it's letting them underestimate you, until it's too late.